My name is Arnold Cheng. I'm the founder and accessibility consultant of Spectrum Mobility. We are an accessibility consulting firm based here in Vancouver. A lot of people will never ever admit to having accessibility issues. Take, for example, my late grandmother. She started having hearing issues towards the end of her life, and she would never admit to it, even though her TV was on full blast and she's practically screaming, thinking that she has to make herself heard. So she'll never tell you that she has a hearing issue. And same for a lot of people, they're not going to tell you they have an old nagging knee problem or hip problem. We've noticed that people who are older now are different from people who are older 10 years ago. People 10 years ago, they might be happy with relaxing on a beach and lounging and whatever, but older people today are active. They want to do stuff. And you got to give them ways to actually do it. Otherwise, they're just going to go stir crazy, right? Accessibility actually lets them participate in their communities even after they stop working. One of my clients actually said to me, after we implemented the accessibility changes that you recommended, I had about 4 people come to me and say, oh, thank goodness you put that in because I was having a lot of pain opening this door, going up those stairs. And the guy was like, nobody ever told me that they had issues. And that's what we got to remember, is that sometimes people will never ever tell you. Accessibility for your clients is basically the same as accessibility for other retail places. You want people to feel like they're welcomed. If they feel like they're welcomed, they will come back again. They'll tell their friends. People want to feel included in wherever they go. They don't want to be going to a place where everyone's hostile to them or things don't feel comfortable or don't feel right. The easiest way to make sure that someone is welcomed is just to think about what they would go through when they come to you. So start from where they might arrive. It can be the parking, it could be the transit stop, and just do like a little walkthrough and think about, what if you were in a wheelchair? Like, is there a step? Is there a steep sidewalk? Is there a lot of debris on the ground? And then think about whether you are blind. Like, let's say you're blind, you're going along the roadway and you're seeing, oh, you can't hear the dangers coming from traffic crossing this way. Like, these will impact what you're going to tell your clients. If you're going to tell them how to get to your place, it would really help if you actually kind of did the walkthrough beforehand so that you can answer the questions, and who knows, maybe you answer their questions even before they ask.
That's right.
The thing to remember about accessibility is that it's not just about people in wheelchairs. It's about visual, hearing, sensory even, or just someone who might need an extra cue or two to get around. So when you look at buildings, look for those. And one misconception that I keep running into is that some people will think the building is better because it's newer. And I could tell you that's not always the case. Like recently, I came across a building that opened in 2022 that had a huge hazard at the entrance. They had a 1-inch lip right below the door that you can trip over. And they had a power door button on the inside of the door, but not the outside. So you couldn't get in, but you could get out. And I was like, this building is less than a year old. How could that happen? And then I remembered there were tons of buildings I saw that had been built in the 2020s. Not the 2010s, but the 2020s that had major issues. Like the accessible parking in the parkade might be on a slope. So when you set up your wheelchair, it might roll away. But then there are buildings that might have been built in the 1960s who are really, like the people who are in charge did a really good job at maintaining the building. So for example, signage is probably the easiest thing you can do. If you do the accessibility certification, signage can be worth 36 to 50 points alone. The best way to improve your accessibility is not to focus on just one aspect of the building, focus on all of them. You don't have to do anything particularly well to necessarily do well, but if you pay attention to everything, inevitably everything is going to improve together. Accessibility is the key to getting people involved in the community.
That's great.
You can cut that and put it there.
Yeah.